Okay, welcome back. But before we delve into the stories making the front pages of our newspapers this morning, I would love to wish every mother out there, including mine, but more importantly, the very beautiful and amazing, dynamic, experienced. If you spend over 4 decades in this line of job, then you know it doesn't come cheap. Or even the civil service, after 35 years, you retire. But I mean, it's been so amazing sharing this desk every single day in the last 8 weeks or thereabouts with my co-host, and of course, an opportunity and a privilege to say Happy Mother's Day to you. Because of the professionalism that this work entails, I struggle to call you Tom for obvious reasons. But because the job insists that it has to go that way, and I'll tell you for a fact that even off the camera, each time you get to talk and then you talk to me about life, about choices, about the need for me to stay on the game and be as responsible as I can be. I just say everything my mother says coming out of your mouth, and it's always a privilege. And once again, for maintaining beauty in the face of Nigeria hard. I say Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there, and more importantly to you, my beautiful Adito. Good
Thank
to
you.
have you join us on this
Thank you
reggae
so
today.
much. Thank you so much, Okwe. I really and truly appreciate this. And I wonder sometimes, the men complain, they say, oh, there are too many Mother's Day celebrations. So there's the International Women's Day, then there is the Mothering Sunday.
Mhm.
But this one
It's
is
the
the
Mother's Day.
Mother's
Gun, gun,
Day.
gun.
Mother's Day, yes. So yeah, this is Mother's Day.
No,
Thank you
it's
so
okay.
much.
When you listen to song, you still sweet mother. I never only God know what man do man for this life.
No,
Yeah.
no. When it's Father's Day,
Eh,
we'll say Happy Father's
well,
Day
my
too.
sister always tell me Happy Father's Day, and I'm like, I'm not your father. But again, it's always an amazing time. It's a time where you sit back and have a reflection on the sacrifices that your parents have made for. And I've always said it, one of the greatest gifts you can have as an adult, growing or transitioning into adulthood, is to still have your parents with you. It's a rare
It's
privilege.
a rare
It's a very rare
privilege. Yeah, I
privilege.
must tell you that. All right, it's time for us to delve into the newspapers and see what they're serving us this morning for breakfast. It's always good to start with the punch. And the above the nameplate 2027 Rivers governorship drama as APC committee screens Fubara Wike's allies. First hold Co 6 shareholders approval on 1 trillion capital base in bold balance sheet fortification. State's capital spending plunges 58% as 2027 politics intensifies. Now, the riders for that story, capital projects suffer after Lagos, Bayelsa, Enugu, and others spending drops by 2.2 trillion. Spending cuts may worsen poverty and unemployment, and that's coming from the economists. Fiscal pressure deepens as 13 states borrow fresh 362 billion naira. And okay, you heard me say, oh my God, we're back to discussing Nigeria this morning. This was what I saw when I said it. Because we're starting to get into a political, era and campaigns and all of that. Does that mean that the people should suffer? Because when you cut your spending, by 2.2 trillion naira, that's no joke. And we're looking at about 58%. And again, even economists can see, so clearly that it's of course going to worsen poverty, is going to worsen unemployment, and it just may as well bring Nigeria to almost a halt, because some people are politicking. uh, Again, I want to complain. I'm saying that, does this necessarily have to be the case? Are the people no longer important? What is the politicking about? Is it not about the people? I kind of get confused with Nigerian politics and what their priorities are.
Um, it's a circle, and I always say that a typical political life of a Nigerian politician is not 4 years. Constitutionally, is 4 years. For them, governance is about a year, because once they win election, they'll use few weeks or months to get congratulatory message. Then they will prepare for swearing and handing over. Then they will start setting up their cabinet. And in the process of setting up cabinet, they have to look at different variables. Oh, which zone gave me the highest votes? Which zone is likely going to produce this one? Which one, this one? Where's the party chairman zone? This. So they look into all of this. Then they set up the cabinet. And then before we say what's happening, they are doing 100 days in office. They are doing 365 days in office. So the smart ones will have quickly completed the project they inherited, so that they'll have a lot of things to showcase for their
themselves.
1 year in office. Then after 1 year, there is the second year, which is often about trying to consolidate on what they've done in the last 1 year. For the ones that don't have court issue, that they are not challenging the legitimacy of their results, because first one, they will still go to courts, tribunal, high court, appeal court. The ones that are unlucky can still take it as far as the Supreme Court. So they live without distraction for so many months. Then after the second year, they start looking at the fact that, oh, am I doing enough? Do I need to start making consultation to go for a second term for the fresh ones? Or the ones that are about to finish, they're looking at retirement home. Do I want to go to the Senate? The ones that are governors, oh, do I want to have a shot at the presidency? So at that second year, and they're still doing small politics and still doing small governance. But by the third year, governance to the back seat, politics takes the front page. And so when the politics starts, you see issues of, governors abandoning their states in most cases and going to different other states, especially situations where there are off-cycle elections. Now you see, Ekiti election is coming. You see the way the governor of Lagos, Ogun, or all of them would troop into Ekiti to support one of their own. They will still do the same for Osun as well.
Osun State.
And before we know what's happening, campaign starts. According to the timeline of INEC, the timetable for presidential campaign starts in August. And for the governors and the other assembly start in September. So this is May.
Of which year?
2026.
No,
So this is
I
May.
was only being
I understand.
mischievous.
This is May, June, July. By August, everything is over. So that is where the problem comes in. Look at Lagos, for instance. Governor Sanwo-Olu is leaving office. His deputy governor is taking over, or is, according to ABC, wanting to take over from him. So both of them are in the heart of political conversation right now. So I understand that there are structures that should make governance work. But when you begin to abandon governance itself and it becomes fully political, in fact, by the time they lift ban on campaign for the presidency, you see that every state the president visits, governors are following him everywhere. And some of them, their deputies are going to the Senate. They're also building on their own political. In fact, look at Ogun State. Both the governor and the Senate and the deputy governor, both of them are going to the Senate. So what happens in that case? Both of them are struggling for their political survivors. And there's a little that the Secretary to State government can do. There's a little that commissioners can do. There's nothing SSAs and SAs can do. So it is the governor or the deputy. But when you see a situation where most of them are deep into politics, neck deep enough into politics, people would suffer. And that's what we are seeing already.
That's what we're seeing already. Unfortunately, these things need to be properly spelled out. Well, they've been spelled out, but and it's not like some people don't know anyway.
know.
Of course, they know exactly what they should be doing, and they know exactly what they have chosen to do. Those are two completely different things. Now, when they said when two elephants fight, is the grass that
grass.
suffers. So in this case, the grass would be
The people.
And when the people are suffering and the leaders don't feel any form of
Empathy or
empathy
anything.
for the people, I mean, then there's a huge problem. Just tells you the kind of leaders that we have in Nigeria. It's about them first. So, that's why some people would say, you know what, I just rather sit at home, because any which way, these people are never going to think about me first. Let me think about myself. Let me think about staying alive. Let me think about my health and every other thing that's important to me, because these people do what's important to them first. We call on our leaders to, let loose the political cloud, as I may refer to it at this moment, a little bit, so that you put the people into consideration and look out for them, be there for them at this very critical point in Nigeria's history. All right, so time to move on. Still on the Punch newspaper, they say vehicle imports jump 67% in 3 months. Is that the Strait of Hormuz again affecting? No, it's a question I need to ask. Every question that asks deserves an answer. So, Okwe, can you please give me the answer if you have one?
So there's been some waiver on the import duties on
Yes.
vehicles.
Yeah.
So I think that is what is leading into that. Because I always tell people that there's no money in the country. There's no money in the country. Every single day, car ports are opening up.
Yeah.
Big cars, expensive cars are on the street and every corners of Lagos and Nigeria. So I think that's what this is about. That now that there's a bit of some waiver.
So now
and I think
there's
people
an
are-
increase
yeah,
in the
people
importation.
are importing cars
Yeah,
now
but
into
there's
the
no
country.
there's no decrease in the prices of. I mean, the effect has not been felt, by the
Yeah, but
people who are
it's,
purchasing the cars, because I know cars are still very expensive.
Very expensive. I
Yeah.
mean, in Nigeria, it's like age. What goes up in this country had
Never
never
comes
come down. So even when the dots are aligning, even when the numbers seems to be better, it is difficult for us. And sometimes you can't blame some of these guys because the time they imported those vehicles, the waivers were not in place yet. So they will say that let me sell the one I have in my stand first before I start having the effect on the new
Yeah,
one. But the truth
yeah.
is this: do you know the new and the old?
Exactly.
At what point do you know they
The
are
consumer,
finished selling
yes.
the ones they imported when there were no waivers? So
Yes.
I think that's where the Nigerians had to come into play. But well, whatever it is, it's bad that people can barely even afford brand new cars. But so if the import is going up and then we are buying Tokumbo cars as we used to in
Tokumbo
this
cars,
part of the
Tokumbo
world.
tires. You saw some tires in my car this
And I had
morning,
to ask.
and you asked me that what are those tires doing in my car? And I said, well, I have a pool of tires that I buy from time to time and just keep. So when my car needs a change of tires, I just put them in the car and take them to the man who's going to fix them for me. That's Nigeria, and you have to give Nigeria what it takes. All right, so 3,715 PHCs inactive in 19 states and the Federal Capital Territory.
We had this conversation last week, yeah?
Yes, we did.
Where we talked about the fact that it is the duty of the local government chairman to make sure that the primary healthcare centers are equipped and effective. So look at this number now: 3,715
715
are
in
inactive.
19 states.
So the ones that are active, it's not like they are fully active, but maybe some of them are still a bit
What
better.
they refer to as active, as far as I'm concerned, should be non-active.
Exactly. So this one that they said it is inactive, it means that it is dead.
It's dead.
It's not existing at all. So when you have communities where there are issues, I told you that one of the most unfortunate news I heard in the last 2 weeks is the fact that we're back with cases of polio. And when Nigeria was certified polio free a couple of years back, I was really excited because I stayed in the north for a while and I see the effect of these polios and lack of vaccines on those little children. So when we were certified polio free, I was happy. Now we had cases of polio. We are scared now of antivirus or no antivirus. Everybody is being careful about rodents. Some people are sniffing, but some people are just moving around, But the most important thing is that these PACs have to be effective so that people can have. Don't why are you laughing now?
Okay, you're such a horrible person. And, because of what you just done now, I'm just going to tell my story when it's time for the
So that I
discussion.
don't use it to blackmail
when
you
it's
small,
time,
small.
When it's time for the discussion segment, I'll just tell my story myself, okay? You can go ahead.
I think it's a big call to local government chairman. If you're talking about local government autonomy, people should feel it. It's not just
Yeah.
about raising levies in the markets or at the motor parks. If you're collecting from the people, it is your duty to give back to them. Fix your primary healthcare centers. That is the first point of response for emergencies. Pregnant women, minor issues like malaria and all of that. Let them get first hand or first aid first at those PACs. If there are need for them to be referred, then they can be referred. I'm really worried that we're still at this stage with the huge amount of money that local government chairmen are now collecting. We're still talking about inactive primary healthcare centers. Why? Why?
So sad, so sad. Health is wealth. How do we expect our country to
To
be
be healthy.
wealthy
Wealthy when we are not
when
healthy.
we're not healthy, when we're not taking care of the people? The human resources that God has given to us in Nigeria is second to none. Like, seriously. Is it a population we want to talk about? Look at China. That's what is keeping China going. The population that
They're
they have,
living on their
and they're living
population.
on the population. They're living on the human resources that they have, and they're taking care of them. But Nigeria is not doing that. We don't understand how to make wealth in this country. You see, we don't even need to be borrowing. We have everything going for us. But unfortunately, I don't know how certain people are thinking. Well, we can't all be the same. I realize that. But there's some basic things that we expect that the people who are leading us should know. You know, if you're not investing in the people, and you're investing in material things, then I think that's a waste, because eventually there's really not going to be, anything to show for it. But when you invest in the people, then you have so much to show for it. And then you see the country become better, become, richer, and all of that. Anyway, we hope that one day our leaders will learn and listen. Okay, so deep in security, counterterrorism, and bilateral relations with the United States. We have a picture story, and that tells it all on the front page of the Punch newspaper. INEC deadline. Opposition parties rush to submit membership registers. All right, that's it from the Punch newspaper this morning. It's time for us to take a look at
Daily
the Daily
Independent.
Independent.
Wow. Nigeria must decommoditize cocoa to protect farmers. That is coming from experts, and also boost earning power from that. 2027, Fubara's fate uncertain, snubs out of APC screening venue. I saw that story yesterday, and you asked this morning that what's wrong, what's going on between Wiki and Fubara.
Fubara.
There's no love lost in between them. It's just at the moment a marriage of convenience. Do your day, like Wiki would always say, day your day, make I day
In
my
my
day.
day.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Be the governor. Don't tamper with my structure. Leave my boys for me. Build your own structure if you want to build it, but I'll make sure you're not coming back into that government house, because I put you there in the first place, and I'll make sure you don't come back. But the question is this: Wike is a member of the PDP. Fubara had joined the APC.
APC.
Fubara is enjoying the protection of the Progressive Governors Forum. Hope Uzodinma is the chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, and it is a well-known fact that himself and Wike, they are water and oil. They
Fiber.
can never mix. Never mix. So as long as Hope Uzodinma is supporting Fubara, Oyasu is one of their own. Wike will be the catalyst that will continue to roll things over. So the question we're asking is, will Wike choose the governorship candidate of APC for Rivers State when he's a member of the PDP?
Do you really put anything past Wiki? And really, do you put anything past Nigerian politics?
No, nothing.
I don't.
Nothing.
I don't.
Nothing.
Anything can happen. Look, Okwe, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if we come back tomorrow. We're reading the same thing that we're saying may not happen.
And it's happening.
Never say never when it comes to Nigeria.
Well, the big story: liquidity buffers keeps interbanks rate steady amid CBN mop up as PDP mocks Wike over Supreme Court CTC ruling, shifts focus to election. Sarah gives Tinubu 7 days over missing 26.9 billion from USPF. Federal government saves 1.1 trillion through new price intelligence initiative. Okay, that's on page 6 of Daily Independent. Sanu Nasu suspends nationwide strike starting today. We said it, we're going to suspend the strike. Well, Jet A1 crisis threats to flight safety and jobs. Pilots and engineers are complaining. Should we not have a solution to this Jet A1 issue long enough?
Politics is in the air. Every other
Everything
thing
else
else
suffers.
must not is not. Every other thing must suffer. At this rate, we shouldn't even expect anything. Okwe, the truth is that everybody's on their own as we speak, and will be on their, Wike has said it now. No, sorry, Senate president said it, that even terrorism would
end 2 weeks
two
after
weeks after
election.
election. So everything is until after election. What we can do now is pray that the days quickly come and go, and the months come and go, and that it's time for election, and that election is over.
How do you
That's
how do you,
that's the only thing
how
we
do
can
you
do right now.
process that the number 3 citizen in the country
Would
is
make
telling
such
us
a
that Nigerians
statement,
will continue
such
to
an
die.
irresponsible
Nigerians
statement
will continue to die
until
after
after
the
the election. There's
Then 2
something
weeks
he
after
knows.
the election, the killings will stop.
Don't you think that there's something he knows?
There's nothing they don't know. A couple of months back, Sheikh Gumi talked about the fact that the government know everybody. They know the bandit, they know the terrorists, they know their leaders, they know their address, they know their enclaves, they know everything about those bandits. So for the Senate president to come out and say 2 weeks after the election, the killings will stop. So because we have a lot of people recklessly saying whatever comes into their mouth and nobody's holding them to account. In that case, if it was to be in a working society, the Senate president will be investigated. What do you know? How do you know that 2 weeks after election, the killings will stop?
They won't even ask him how. They'll
want
just
to call
ask him what he knows. He needs to tell, brief us what he knows. But if this is Nigeria, anything would pass and anything would go. But it's very, very disappointing and very sad that, we keep coming on this table and predicting, the lackadaisical attitude of our leaders. We can actually, we're not soothsayers.
And predictions are always right.
Yeah, our predictions are always right because we know what our leaders would do. We know what they would not do. The things that matter the most to the masses, to the people, to the Nigerians, are the things that they probably would not take care of. But guess what? When it is things that really do not matter to us, but it matters to them, they will take care of. But I'm telling you something, we need to stop and go back to the drawing boards, because election time is the time where people will say enough of this. Let's vote for a change, and perhaps if the elections will be free and fair, there may be a tendency that people would say, look, we want a fresh air,
new idea.
Because we're not getting anything. This has, for me, this government has never stuck by the rules. They have just disregarded the rules, even when they are constitutional. For example, campaign has started since the day they took over power. We're talking about the official breaking of campaigns. There's nothing like that, really. There's nothing like that, because they've been campaigning. I understand that the whole of the North, people have started to ask whether there's business going on in the North, because there's no publicity, there's no advertisement. The billboards are filled with political campaigns, and it is just one party. And this is nauseating, very disgusting to think that people who are so learned, because you can't take that away from our president. He is learned. He actually is learned. And he understands the meaning of
Playing by the rules.
Yeah, playing by the rules. And he is a great strategist. So why would it be him, of all people, that would not be sticking to the rules? He can't say that he doesn't see these things happening, but because it's in his favor, he's not saying anything. And that's the part that we disagree with. We expect that things should now. So on in August, they will make an open show of what? Okay,
of what they've been doing already.
No, what they've been exactly. So who are they going to be making a fool of? Really, they're not going to be making a fool of Nigerians, because Nigerians already know who they are and what they are. Yeah.
Let's look at the Daily Sun.
Okay, time for us to take a look at the Daily Sun. Escalating vandalism, diesel theft threaten 3 trillion telecom assets. And the writer is MTN spends 887 million on security in the first quarter. Wow. What do you want the people? What do you want the people to do?
Going up.
No, seriously, what do you want the people to do? When we have a government that doesn't take care of them, for some people, they are myopic in their thinking. They don't see the need to find a legitimate job to do. So the next thing is to steal. For them, that's the way to make money. But the thing is that one day the thief will be caught, and it's the ripple effect. It's still the ripple effect will still come back to the thief, because when Nigeria gets harder, it's coming back to them.
Of course.
So that's the unfortunate part. But you see, our leaders need to pay the masses some mind. Okay, top bank slash loans by 25% amid rising risks. Riders are CBN to examine lending slowdown at MPC meeting. Experts urge softer regulatory rules. Sometimes when they talk about taking loan from the banks, I just smile, because honestly, the banks will ask you for an arm and a leg. You now wonder why do they even bother to give loans? And then again, you want to look, because I like to balance things out. I remember back in the day there was a bank called the People's Bank, and that bank was very popular, as the name as the name speaks for itself. It was a bank for the people, and you could do a lot of borrowing and lending and all of that, transactions with the bank. Nigerians borrowed that bank to a standstill, and the bank folded down. I'm telling you, nobody returned the money that they took, and that was the end of the People's Bank. I'm serious.
The
So
people kill their bank.
they killed they killed the bank.
It's their own. I think it says their own.
Yes,
We do
now.
that now we want.
So they kill the bank, and then you start to wonder what's up with Nigerians now. Why are you doing this kind of thing? So when they now come and they start giving you stringent rules before you can
understand.
take a loan, you just have to understand. All right. So I just played the devil's advocate actually. Tension in APC, ADC, NDC, PDP as members' lists submission ends. Zone presidency to South. Fasten action on state police. Middle Belt Forum advises. Okay, that's coming from the Middle Belt. Middle Belt has a lot to do. They need to look inwards and see how they themselves can help, protect themselves, because I don't know what's going on. I don't know how de- how much dependent, that any Nigerian should be on the government. I think it's 0%, if you ask me. Just assume that they were not there until we get a government that will show the people that we are here for you. Yeah, I mean, there's really no need. Just know that you're on your own. You can just try to do things, get things working on your own.
Sorry, on this one. So because just like you said, the Middle Belters need to sit back and look inwards.
Yeah.
They've been one of the worst hit region in this country.
Yes.
In terms of the killings, in terms of destruction of lives and properties, in terms of the waste, in terms of, I'm not sure, maybe I may not have the exact figures, but after Borno State, I think between Plateau and Benin have the largest number of IDP camps in Nigeria, internally displaced people in Nigeria. And so it's a region that is supposed to also provide food for the entire country because of the greenery around those states.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they call Benue the food basket of the nation.
Of Nigeria.
There's a reason why a lot of people on the plateau are into farming. Nasarawa, even a part of Kaduna. But if you look at the killings that have happened in these states in the last 10, 12 years, then
It's
you
a lot.
understand the fact that it's enough for them to raise their concerns. So when they say, please, zone presidency to the south, if that is going to bring solutions to our region, let's do it. But more importantly, one of the concerns they raised have
Where's
to do
the
with the
current
state
president
police.
from?
The current president is from the south.
That's why I'm trying
No,
to.
they're just saying other political parties should zone into south so that the south can complete their 8 years, and it goes back to the north.
To the
in this
north,
case.
yeah.
But more importantly, they raised the issue about the state police, and I'm not going to lie. There are issues you'd have to sit back and ask yourself again. But how we've been slow on this state police is disturbing.
But you were not observant when they said in how many
It's the
months? In
66 months.
66 or 67 months. When I read that report, because I was the one who read that report, and that day I called your attention to it, okay? I said 67 months. I mean, will this government still be in power even if they are re-elected? I asked that question. So, if the process is that it's going to happen in 67 months, then there may be an issue. But if it is that the actual process will start, and
And
then
then the
by
complete
67 they will
reintegration would
perfect
take
it
that long.
in
Yes.
67 months. Well, we're looking at it, but we're saying that, is it really so difficult, to have state police? How difficult is it? um well, I'm going to be talking about the police very, very soon on this program, because I had a contact with them at
Over
one of
the
the police
weekend.
stations over the weekend, and I discussed it with Okwe while we were coming to work. I don't know if this is the right time to talk about it, or maybe when we get to our
Maybe when
discussion,
we get to
to
the
our discussion
discussion, because there's
segments. Yeah.
another thing too that is still owes the full gist. I will not forget. I will not forget.
All right. So let's just hope that if we are serious, let's prove that, let's prove that we're serious by doing serious things, and not playing. I see our leaders like, they are neither here nor there. The French will say "comme ci, comme ça." They're not hot, they're not cold. Which one are you? Take one. Are you hot or are you cold? If you're hot, be hot and let the people know you're hot. Okay, so still on the Daily Sun, NDC zeroes in on Obi Kwakwanso ticket. Gunmen kill police and 14 others. They also abduct 5 in Plateau communities. This is what we were just talking about. They've been the hardest hit in Nigeria. IPOB holds Biafra Heroes Remembrance Day on May 30th. And finally, from the Daily Sun, JAMB stakeholders to decide 2026 admission guidelines today. That's it from the Daily Sun. Let's look at the Nigerian Tribune.
Okay. The big headline, drama as Fubara appears before APC screening panel. There's a picture of the president and group CEO, Mrs. Owen, and OON Group Chairman Mr. Tony Lumelu, CFR, and Company Secretary during the 20th Annual General Meeting, the AGM of Transnational Corporation PLC, that's Transcorp,
Transcorp.
at the weekend in Abuja. And there's also another picture of the National Security Advisor, Amala Noor Ribadu, with the United States Vice President, VP JD Vance, and of course the acting National Security Advisor of the United States, that is Senator Marco Rubio. He had a working visit to the US last week, and just to deepen our bilateral and diplomatic relationship, especially in the fight against terrorism. So that's the picture there. NNPCL should stop committing state resources to refineries rehabilitation. The experts are warning. With the rider, NECA expresses concerns over new refinery deal. I think a lot of Nigerians are asking questions. Clarity. If you say Chinese firms are taking over the Warri and Port Harcourt, in what capacity? Have we sold it? Did we privatize it to them? Did we go to borrow loan and we use those as collateral in our national assets? Is it a private partnership? Is it a JV, that's a joint venture? Let us know the terms of this takeover. Let us know the terms of this change of ownership, so that we know that in the next 10 years, we'll cease to have anything that has to do with refinery in Nigeria. Let us know. And that's what the people are asking for.
So Okwe, let me just quickly say to you that the very best that we can do is ask questions. Now, if the government is not, deciding, to give us answers to these questions, there's absolutely nothing we can do, because this is not the first time. The day we read that report, the very first time, we asked the same question. And I want to imagine that every broadcaster, every journalist who read the papers or wrote the papers would have asked questions at that particular time. But you know what? Nobody cares to answer. Who cares about the people anyway? You care. You just have to care about yourself. And it is so disappointing. I don't want to get worked up today. I'm trying not to. But Nigeria should not happen to me today.
Tinubu Southwest lawmakers celebrate Fasoranti as 100. And that's the leader of the Afenifere. I clocked 100 over the weekend.
Is that not OPC? The OPC person? No, that's Fashion.
That's
Fashion.
Fashion.
That's Fashion.
POS transactions set to hit 8.9 trillion in May as CBN intensifies cashless drive. That is on page 13 of Nigerian Tribune. Jet A1 crisis. Pilot engineers raise alarm over aviation safety in Nigeria. That is on page 28. The top end of the Nigerian Tribune, First Holdco seeks shareholders' approval on 1 trillion capital base in bold balance sheet falsification. And on health, pathologists warned of rising global legal risk in mishandling surgical tissues. And let me take that again. Pathologists warn of rising global legal risk in mishandling surgical tissues. That is on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune.
Okay, so pathologists, those are the ones that deal with blood, tissues, and all of that. The thing, what they're saying is that if surgeons, mishandle tissues, of patients, that recently there's an increase in global legal. Sorry, no, okay, global legal risk. Yes, they will take it up legally. Recently, one of our very popular publishers, Nigeria, but based outside this country, lost one of her children, and it was said that it may have been caused by medical negligence. That was taken up, and consequences thereafter followed. So I think doctors need to be more careful, whether they're pathologists, whether they're surgeons, whatever it is, they need to be more careful, because right now, people are getting more aware of the fact that they can take them up legally, unlike before, where people will just let certain things go, like I did a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, when my son-in-law was given he was given what you call, he was supposed to be given hepatitis B vaccine, the second dose, by Synlab, where he works, and I'm going to mention this name because I never took it up at the time. And instead of them to give him the vaccine, what they gave him was a reagent that contained a very deadly chemical in it, but the Nigerian thing, oh, just let it be, and all of that. And this almost killed him. We didn't go through a good time at all, because it was called sodium azide, and sodium azide has never been injected anywhere in the world. So we had to get a toxicologist. We're looking for toxicologists up and down. This boy was drifting away, and apparently somehow Synlab just got away with it. But I know that they won't get away with it. We're still coming back to that. So doctors need to be very, very careful about what they do these days when it comes to their patients. Are we still on the Nigerian Tribune?
No, we're done.
We're done? Okay. So there's a new paper we are introducing this morning. It's called The Hope. It's just called The Hope, apparently. And the above the nameplate of The Hope, APC Primary's ex-speaker Akindele backs Ayedatiwa and urges party members unity. Ondo, participate in CVR Phase 3. INEC urges eligible citizens. Now, the banner headline of The Hope is Pa Ruben Fashoranti glows at 100. Tinubu, Ayedatiwa, Afenifere, others celebrate centenarian with showers of encomiums. Elder statesman lauded for integrity, democratic ideals. Now, we're looking at this, the writers of this headline, and one thing for me, it says elder statesman lauded for integrity. Now, this is very important. These are certain things that people, our elder ones back in the day would stand for, and they wanted to represent in these areas. When it comes to integrity, for them, that is everything. So I am not surprised, that this has been used to qualify Pa Fashoranti. So democratic ideals is also, he's lauded for democratic ideals. Emulate virtues of my dad. Son Taiwo Fasharoti tells politicians, and he's tasking them and asking them to emulate his father. How I wish that that could happen. Perhaps we won't be where we are. And some of the people that lead Nigeria today came from this same Afenifere. You Fenifere, and you don't do the same. You don't do like you ferry. It's quite unfortunate. No security threats are ahead. Fasharoti's birthday bash. Ajulo clears air. NDLEA arrests 3 persons with disabilities for drug trafficking. This is double wahala. Some people just don't. Just don't. They're not sorry for themselves. They don't even. They don't even know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. You can look. We know people who suffer disabilities. They don't have any legs. They don't have any hands. Some people don't have hands. They use their legs to cook. They use their legs to pick up things. They use their legs to carry their bags. They use their legs to do everything. Those who don't have um what is it now? The other one, the legs, the hands. They use their no. Those who have legs but don't have hands use. I'm confused.
Okay.
All right. But whatever. People who live with disabilities, that's my point. Let me not forget my point. The point is that even when you live with a disability,
You can still function.
you can still
properly in any
function
society.
to the best that you know that you want to be.
What is
Really.
your business with drugs?
You know, what are you doing with drugs?
Yeah.
Listen, the truth is that everybody has a disability, one disability or the other. Some people, you can see their disability because it's physical, you understand? Some people have a mental disability, others are emotional disabilities, but everybody has something that they're dealing with. But guess what? We're not going to do things that are out of order because we have one disability or something we're dealing with. So I don't know what these guys are doing, but honestly, I think that they should face the full wrath of the law without any consideration
Their physical
of their
condition.
physical condition. They should face the full wrath of the law. Honestly, that's what I think. Okay, varsity expels 4 students for lesbianism and other offenses. High time. Fubara Abdul Razak Nwifuru absent as APC screens governors. All right, that's it from The Hope, and time to go to the Daily Trust.
Well, let's
Do
see.
you think we can take all the newspapers
We'll
this
just
morning?
flash through it real quick.
Okay.
Just the 2 or more. Let's just flash through some of the headlines that we have here. Sokoto 1 billion school project remains short 9 years after completion. ACF BOT rejects Dalhatu suspension. As 2027, doors closes on aspirants intending defectors. Allocation triples, hardship widens across states. That is Daily Independence right there. There's a breakdown of the increase in monthly allocations for states. You find out on the front page of the Daily Trust. I lost 3 children to Niger airstrike. Injured father is complaining. Fubara storms out of APC screening, shuns journalist. That is on page 16 of Daily Trust. Kidnappers using women to move rifles and ammunition in Kwara states. As police officers, 9 residents killed in fresh Plateau attacks. And that is much on Daily Trusts.
Okay, I'll look at the Nation newspaper
Let's
right
run
now.
through the Nation newspaper as well.
Okay, so almost everything that's on the front page of the Punch newspaper is here, except, okay, so I'll just take it. 70 terrorists killed in Niger drone strikes. Okay, suspects as Fubara, Uzodima, others await screening results. APC gears up for commencement of primaries on Friday. Governor Zulum not in Senate race. That's it, really. We have the same picture story that we have on all the other papers. and some other things that are really
Let's
not
just
important.
flash through the Vanguard
The
as we
Vanguard,
wrap up
yeah.
this segment of the show. 2027 presidency, Jonathan's declaration sparks stir. That is on page 5. With the rider, 9 northern groups jostle to buy nomination form for ex-president. He must have weighted his chances. Afenifere, stay away from today's dirty politics. MBF advises Jonathan. That's the Middle Belt Forum now. Jonathan's return may not overheat the policy, according to CAN, that's Christian Association of Nigeria. It will be catastrophic misadventure if Jonathan returns. That is coming from Okori. Bureau defy economic hardship, record sharp rise in revenue. Okay. Petroleum Energy ramps up Dave's Island production by 2,800 barrels per day as Jet A1 price. Aircraft pilots, engineers worry over flight safety and their jobs. That is much on the Vanguard newspaper.
So the same word has been used in all the when they're talking about the Jet A1 flight safety, flight safety. Why is it that they're not purchasing enough of the fuel for the flights? Why the safety thing?
So the concerns are huge because in this situation, operators may want to start cutting corners.
That's
They
that's what
probably
I'm
want to
thinking.
start buying substandard
Substandard.
aircraft parts. Maybe you've noticed that, oh, this aircraft is due for servicing, but because you really want to run one or two, you
That's
pump
what
it
I
in.
thought. Yeah.
Then again, the quality of Jet A1 may also be affected. People may have to start looking
To
for ways to
produce
buy
and buying
cheaper
cheaper
or
quality.
low standard quality. So I understand where those safeties are coming from, and if these concerns are coming up on a regular basis,
Yes.
I think for about a month now, every week there's always a story on this old Jet A1 crisis. And initially it was the land handlers that were complaining. Now
Yeah.
the pilots and,
And
the
the
flight
engineers.
engineers, aircraft engineers are complaining.
So
That
the-
is where that part is. Since the pilots and the aircraft engineers are the ones raising these
complaining.
concerns, that means it goes beyond the land or
Yeah.
the luggage handlers
so,
now.
So that's why I asked that question, because I didn't want to assume, because my assumptions were what you just confirmed my assumptions, because we've been reading these stories, but we've never put it this way. That now they're talking about the safety, and for me, this is not something to toy with.
At all.
And honestly, if the government knows what they're doing, this is a call. This is an SOS call. The government should reach out immediately with automatic alacrity, as we used to say. This is not fun anymore, because one plane crash.
Oh.
We're not talking about a terrorist attack. This is not funny anymore. The pilots are crying, the engineers are talking, and they're saying the safety is not guaranteed anymore. I don't think I want to do any local flight. Now, this Jet A1, does it affect the international flights as well? Because they will come and load their petrol from here.
It
you know
does.
so we're not playing. This is not funny anymore. And I think the Minister for Aviation, Festus Keyamo, who hitherto had been looked at as a performing minister, at least to some extent, I think that this is a time for him to do something about it. We shouldn't be talking. We shouldn't be talking about it. For them to complain, and it is being escalated gradually. It was a land handlers, and now, like
The
Okwe said, it's
engineers
the
and the
engineers and the
pilots.
pilots. And that's the bar for me. That's the bar. This is not funny anymore. We don't want to hear about a crash. If there's a crash in Nigeria, Nigerians are going to come out very, very aggrieved and angry, because we are
Especially now that they've
focusing
been
on
warning.
yeah, because they've been warning. Because we are focusing on politics does not mean that certain things that need our attention
Should be ignored.
should be ignored. And we're calling on, the appropriate authorities to take a look at that industry and do what should be done. All right, on that note, we'd like to round up the newspaper review on the Breakfast Express show this morning. We will take yet another break, but we will return for more. So we're going to urge you to just sit down a little more comfortably on your chairs. We will be right back with a whole lot more for you.